ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we are reading from the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita. We will try to read 4 verses today. We will read the verse and the translation, and for the 11th verse we will read the purport also. Okay. So these 4 verses, that is verses 8, 9, 10 and 11 from the chapter 10 of the Bhagavad-Gita is called the Chatur Shloki, or the essential verses from the Bhagavad-Gita. So it describes a very important concepts. One is what is the identity of Krishna, and what is the relationship of devotees with Krishna, and how Krishna reciprocates with the devotees for their service. So it's very inspiring, and we will stand to benefit by reading it. So we will read each of these verses and translations. I will read them, and for the verse 11 I will read the purport as well. So this is verse number 8 from chapter 10. aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. So translation is, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. This is Krishna speaking. So he is saying he is the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Nothing is held back. Okay. Now we will read verse number 9. Machchita madgata prana bodhayantah parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Translation: the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So this is what devotees do when they get together. And Krishna is always thinking about his devotees. And the devotees' lives are fully dedicated to the service of Krishna. And they derive great satisfaction. The word that is used is tushyanticha, ramanticha. The process of devotional service is very, very joyfully performed. Okay, we will go to verse number 10 from chapter 10. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajadam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So this is something Krishna does in addition. Okay. So he is saying, for those who are constantly satata yuktana, right, always worshipping Krishna, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So Krishna goes a step further to help those who are devoted to his service. Okay, now we will read verse number 11, translation and purport. Tesham evanukampartam aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavasto jnanadipena bhasvata. So this is very nice verse. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So Lord Krishna is saying special mercy in this case. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So let's read the purport. When Lord Chaitanya was in Benares promulgating the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thousands of people were following him. Prakashananda Saraswati, a very influential and learned scholar in Benares at that time, derided Lord Chaitanya for being a sentimentalist. Sometimes Mayavadi philosophers criticize the devotees because they think that most of the devotees are in the darkness of ignorance and are philosophically naive sentimentalists. Actually, that is not the fact. There are very, very learned scholars who have put forward the philosophy of devotion. But even if a devotee does not take advantage of their literatures or of his spiritual master, if he is sincere in his devotional service, he is helped by Krishna himself within his heart. So, the sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. The only qualification is that one carry out devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. The Mayavadi philosophers think that without discriminating, one cannot have pure knowledge. For them, this answer is given by the Supreme Lord. Those who are engaged in pure devotional service, even though they be without sufficient education and even without sufficient knowledge of the Vedic principles, are still helped by the Supreme God, as stated in this verse. The Lord tells Arjuna that basically there is no possibility of understanding the supreme truth, the absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead simply by speculating. For the supreme truth is so great that it is not possible to understand him or to achieve him simply by making a mental effort. Man can go on speculating for several millions of years, and if he is not devoted, if he is not a lover of the supreme truth, he will never understand Krishna or the supreme truth. Only by devotional service is the supreme truth, Krishna, pleased, and by his inconceivable energy, he can reveal himself to the heart of the pure devotee. The pure devotee always has Krishna within his heart, and with the presence of Krishna, who is just like the sun, the darkness of ignorance is at once dissipated. This is the special mercy rendered to the pure devotee by Krishna. Due to the contamination of material association through many millions of births, one's heart is always covered with the dust of materialism. But when one engages in devotional service and constantly chants Hare Krishna, the dust quickly clears and one is elevated to the platform of pure knowledge. The ultimate goal, Vishnu, can be attained only by this chant and by devotional service and not by mental speculation or argument. The pure devotee does not have to worry about the material necessities of life. He need not be anxious because when he removes the darkness from his heart, everything is provided automatically by the Supreme Lord, who is pleased by the loving devotional service of the devotee. This is the essence of the teachings of Bhagavad-Gita. By studying Bhagavad-Gita, one can become a soul completely surrendered to the Supreme Lord and engage himself in pure devotional service. As the Lord takes charge, one becomes completely free from all kinds of materialistic endeavors. It's a very nice verse and purport. I will read the verse translation once more. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So again, we are reading from the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, verses 8, 9, 10 and 11, and we just read the purport for verse 11. So the Acharyas or the previous spiritual masters have explained that these 4 verses are called the Chatur Shloki, or the essential verses of the Bhagavad-Gita, and it shows essentially who Krishna is. What does it say? Machita, right? He says that aham sarvasya prabhavo, right? So, matta sarvam pravartate. Krishna says, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So, Krishna's identity is that he is the Supreme Lord. He is the source of all material and spiritual worlds. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adira Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. That Krishna is the source of everything. He has no beginning. It is not that Krishna was created by somebody. Some people ask, who created God? That statement or question itself is foolish, because God is the source of everything. If He is the source of everything, then He cannot have a source by definition. So, Krishna, from the Bhagavad Gita we learn, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are many, many gods or controllers, right? Even in our company we work for, there are many controllers, managers, directors, vice presidents, CEO, etc. There is a hierarchy. In the same way, in the universal government, there are many, many departments. A small town like Hillsborough has so many government offices and employees. Correct? There are many, many empowered government servants. They all work for a purpose. They all fulfill a role. In the same way, in the universal, the universe is so complex and it has different departments. And in the universal government, there are different empowered personalities who have a function to perform. And they are all controllers, Ishvara. But Ishvara Paramah Krishna, who is the controller of all of them? And that is Krishna. And He is Satchit Ananda Vigraha. So here comes the second aspect. He has a personal form which is full of, which is eternal. Sat, Chit means it is full of knowledge, and Ananda is full of bliss. And Vigraha means he has a personal form. So in our journey in spiritual life, we will come across teachings that say that the absolute truth is impersonal. It has no form. But that is not the conclusion of the Vedic scriptures. What is this impersonalism? Impersonalism, they teach that, the ultimate truth, absolute truth has no form. You just merge with the absolute truth. So a common example I can give is, everyone has taken a flight from one place to another. Yeah. So when you are going in the flight, in the plane, if you happen to have a window seat, Sri Sri Nitai Sachinandande Bhagavan Ki Jai. If you happen to have a window seat and you looked out, there are a lot of clouds that you see. Yes? It looks very wonderful to see those clouds. You are floating above the clouds. Right? But how long can you stare at the clouds? Have you tried? Just staring at the clouds for a long time, for the entire journey of the plane. It becomes pretty boring. Right? Soon enough, you start looking inside the plane, like you're looking at your neighbor. What is that person sitting in that seat doing? Right? Now, all those people sitting with you are persons. They have a form. You are more attracted to seeing that. Right? And if the plane journey is long enough, soon enough you become impatient Like, I can't wait to get out of this plane, right? To get back on ground and start dealing with people. So impersonalism is like that, just staring at those clouds. It looks good, but you can't derive any enjoyment from it. We derive enjoyment in relationships, in dealing with people. Now, please don't keep the Bhagavad-Gita on the ground. Sorry, thank you. These are the words of God, Krishna. So we have to respect it. So when we stare at those clouds, it becomes monotonous. Similarly, another example is like if you have gone in the sea. Sea looks very mighty, right, in an ocean. Just start staring into the sea. You will become bored after a while. The people develop what is called as seasickness, right? So they can't wait to come back to land. So impersonalism is like that. It's a feature of the Supreme Lord. But there is a feature that is higher than that, and that is that of the person. So that is why in the purport for this verse 11, Srila Prabhupada talks about what is called as the Mayavadis. Mayavadis, they are envious of Krishna. They want to become God. They say everything is Maya, illusion. So that is not a very intelligent argument, right? They say you and I are one. So once there was a devotee who went to a spiritual conference. So a lot of personalities had come from different schools of thought, and he started talking to a certain Mayavadi. And the Mayavadi was saying, I am you, you are me, everyone is one, like that. So this person was trying to convince him by the strength of Bhagavad-Gita and other Vedic scriptures that that is not correct. Krishna doesn't say that. I am you, you are me, like that. No. We are all spiritual. We are not God, we are godly. Means we are of the same quality as Krishna. Just like the gold particle is the same as the gold mine. But gold particle is not valuable as the gold mine, correct? There is a difference in value, there is a difference in quantity. So this person was arguing, and he was, this Mayavadi person wasn't ready to accept. So when the night came, this was in North India, and it was the winter season, and it was really cold. And they were all about to retire to the for the day and sleep. So this devotee, what he did was he hid the blanket for this person. They were staying in the same room. So he hid his blanket and laid down on the bed on top of that blanket and started sleeping. And this person was looking for his blanket. Where is my blanket? Where is my blanket? And so the devotee asked him, why are you so upset? He said, I don't have a blanket, it's so cold. So he said, well, you are me and I am you. So if I am wearing this blanket, then you should be okay, right? And he said, no, that's not correct. I need a blanket myself. So what the devotee did is he took a thread from the blanket and gave it to him and said, you are me, and this thread, like the individual soul is the same as God, right? That's what your argument is. So this thread should equal the blanket. So you wear this and sleep. And he said, no, that's not enough. So he asked, now do you agree, right, that the individual soul and the supreme soul are not the same? And he had to admit, yes. Right? All those kind of arguments sounds good, but is of no practical value. So he accepted defeat. Yes, you are right. That the individual soul, the living entity, is not the same as God. God is supreme, unlimited, Vibhu, and we are Anu, atomic. So, anyways, there are a lot of philosophies like this. In fact, most of the philosophies in this world we see is impersonalist. But that's not the teaching of Bhagavad-Gita. We learn. And in this verse, why I selected this verse is that we have a special day coming up on the 17th, It is the wonderful appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is none other than Lord Krishna himself. But he came 500 years ago as a hidden incarnation. He came in the form of a devotee to teach the world, how one should surrender to Krishna. And this verse the verse number 11 that I read, it says, to show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So the word that is used is anukampa. Anukampa means mercy. So Krishna shows special mercy to the devotees. And he advented as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is not a common incarnation. It's a very, very rare incarnation. Once in a day of Brahma, this incarnation happens. In all Kali Yugas, this age that we are in is called Kali Yuga. Kali means the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. And we find a lot of that in this world. There is a lot of quarrel. For no reason quarrel starts. Wars start. Right? And there is hypocrisy in the leaders. Even among common people, they will say one thing but do something else. So this age is like that. But in this Kali Yuga, there is one good quality. Kalo dhoshanidhe rajan asti eko hi mahan guna kirtanat eva krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajet. That this Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults. Can you estimate the size of an ocean? We can't. It's full of faults. It's like that, ocean of faults. But there is one good quality about this age. What is this good quality? Kirtanadeva Krishnasya. If you chant the holy name of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, then all perfections will result just from that. And that is what Srila Prabhupada also says in the purport. That simply by chanting Hare Krishna. And this chanting of the holy name, this Sankirtan Yajna was started by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself. 500 years ago, he appeared. Right? Radha Krishna Suvalitam Navomi Krishna Swarupam. Right? This Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna himself, but he came with the mood of the topmost devotee of Krishna, Srimati Radharani. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he preached and practiced this chanting of the holy name. And he was aided or assisted in this process by his first expansion, Lord Nityananda or Lord Balram, and the other devotees. They all appeared in this planet. So in our altar, we have Lord Sri Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who is none other than Krishna and Balram. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed special mercy. It is said that Lord Ananta Shesha, Ananta means unlimited, who is an expansion of Lord Krishna himself, but he is in the form of a gigantic serpent. He has thousands and thousands of mouths. It is said that Lord Ananta, with his thousands and thousands of mouths, cannot describe what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did in a single day. Usually our activities are very easy to describe. What did you do? I woke up, I brushed my teeth, I took bath, I ate breakfast. Simple things, right? It's very concise. But what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did in a day can't be described by Ananta Shesha with thousands and thousands of mouths. That's how much mercy was that. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in a land known as Mayapur. Maya usually means illusion. But there is another word meaning for this word Maya. Maya means mercy. So in the land of mercy known as Mayapur, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the incarnation of mercy, advented. And he preached this ultimate process of devotional service called the chanting of the holy name of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't invent anything. This Hare Krishna Mahamantra is there in the Upanishads, in the Vedic literatures, it is there. Right? But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established the Sankirtan Yajna, which is the congregation chanting of the holy names of the Lord. And it's a very simple process. Anyone can chant, even a child can chant the holy names of Lord. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spread it far and wide. Patra apatra nadak dekhe kala asthan. Sthana asthan, sorry. Patra apatra. Who is qualified, who is not qualified? Are you learned? Are you illiterate? Are you coming from a very high family, low family? No consideration. We are all God's children. There is no separation at the spiritual level amongst us. We are all, like all children of a father, have equal rights to the father's opulence. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established this. The Nama Acharya, the spiritual master, in charge of the chanting, or the ideal example of chanting of the holy name, was Srila Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur appeared in a Mohammedan family, in a Muslim family. But he was always chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and he was designated as the Namacharya by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the special mercy, Anukampa. We read this Chatushloki from the Bhagavad-Gita 8, 9, 10 and 11. Acharyas have explained that in the first two verses, Krishna declares his identity and what the devotees do. But the next two verses, that is verses 10 and 11, Acharyas have explained that this shows the madhurya, the sweetness of the Supreme Lord. What he does for his devotees. He goes above and beyond. Krishna says in those verses, the thoughts of my devotees dwell in me. I don't think of anything else. I think of only my devotees. And the devotees in turn don't think of anything. This is the sweetness aspect of Sri Krishna. And he goes one step beyond. In verse 11, he says, to show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness that is born of ignorance. So worship of Lord Krishna achieves three purposes. First one is clarity. It gives, by study of Bhagavad-Gita, one gets clarity in life. Oftentimes we see that our mind is confused. There are so many things that are happening. We are very much distracted. We don't know what is to be done, what is not to be done, what is beneficial for me, what is the ideal step that I should take. We are always confused. Even buying a phone, we think, should I buy iPhone or Android? Should I have 64 GB or 128 GB? More is better, but it also costs more. What should I do? And we ask like 100 different people, what should I do? We read reviews in Amazon, right? We are not sure. Now, Bhagavad-Gita is not to give you clarity in that regard. It won't tell you which iPhone to buy. But it will tell you, give clarity in how to lead our life. What is the purpose of life? Why are we here? What are we supposed to do? What is the right decision? Those are more important than which brand of iPhone to buy. So it gives clarity. It sets clear goals on what to achieve. Second thing that the benefit that one derives is purity. So first is clarity. Second is purity. Whatever unwanted things are there in the heart, we are beset by so many unwanted things in the heart. They are driven away. Tatha rajas tamo bhava kama lobhadayasche cheta etam anavidham stitam sattve prasiddhati. That whatever unwanted things is arising from the mode of passion and ignorance, they are driven away. And one gets established in pure goodness, happy state. So there is purity in the heart. One is no longer affected by these kind of things. And finally, the benefit that one gets is simplicity. Simplicity means one is no longer attracted to these lower things. One no longer complicates one's life with too many complicated things. Oftentimes we see that many of our problems in life comes from a complex lifestyle. If you buy a Ferrari, for example, is it done there? No, you have to buy insurance, right? The first thing you need is insurance. Then you need to spend money for maintenance. Even with those things, you are always anxious. Like when you are driving in the road, somebody drives by you in a beat up 1970s Volkswagen bus. You are immediately very like this. Or you are driving by a 18-wheeler truck. You are like this. What if this guy comes 2 inches this way? We are worried. Why? Because we are driving a Ferrari. A Ferrari, if it gets damaged, is more painful, right? Yeah, we complicate our lives, right? We accumulate things, so many things. One refrigerator is not enough. We must have 3. One in the garage, one in the kitchen, one in the spare, just in case the other 2 gets damaged, right? And we tend to overeat. Like when we are served a meal, we eat as if there is no next meal, right? I am getting an 8-course meal. It doesn't happen every day. Once in a while I get it, so I must make sure. So Srila Rupa Goswami says, Atyahara prayasascha prajalpa niyamagraha janasangasya laulyam cha shradbir bhaktir vinashyati. There are things that clutter up our life. First thing is atyahara, eating too much. Second one is prayasa, too much endeavor to achieve something. Like somebody who is working, it's not enough that you work 8 hours. The manager expects you to work 14 hours, 16 hours. Do overtime. What is you are getting paid for it, right? Yeah. Okay. So prayasa. So this is how life becomes complicated. And we lose sight of the basic things in life. But when we read Bhagavad-Gita, when we follow devotional service, these 3 benefits happen. One achieves clarity, one achieves purity, and one achieves simplicity. Simplicity is Vaishnavism. One understands what is required for life and what is not required for life. And this is the special mercy that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu distributes. One just needs to take up this process of chanting Hare Krishna. And in the purport to that verse, Srila Prabhupada makes a very interesting statement. He says, the pure devotee does not have to worry about the material necessities of life. He need not be anxious, because when he removes the darkness from his heart, everything is provided automatically by the Supreme Lord, who is pleased by the loving devotional service of the devotee. The Supreme Lord is the richest person. The son of the Supreme Lord is not a beggar. One needs to understand that pure devotional service pleases the Supreme Lord. And when the Supreme Lord is pleased, what is not achievable? We need not please our managers, our directors, VPs, etc. Yes, we must do our job. Yes, duty. Krishna consciousness is not an escapist attitude. That okay, just let's run to the forest and Krishna will take care of me. No. To the contrary, we do our duty, but who do we do it for? We do it for Krishna, for his satisfaction. At no point in the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, my dear son, no need to fight, just go. You sit here and I will kill all of them. Krishna can, yes, right? Nidram ananta jagadanda sa roma kupaha adhara shaktim avalambya param swamurtim govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. In his sleep, he creates trillions and gazillions of universes from the pores of his body. Universes, not just one or two, from the pores of his body. In his sleep. So, what is impossible? Is it impossible for Krishna to destroy the armies, the enemies of Arjuna in that battle? No, it is not at all impossible, not at all difficult. But at no point Krishna tells Arjuna, no need to fight. No, to the contrary, he says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmarya yudhyacha mai arpita mano buddhir mame vaishyasi asamshayah. Krishna says that at all times, Arjuna, you must carry your duty of fighting and at the same time remember me. In this way, with your mind and intelligence fixed upon me, you will come back to me without fail. Asamshayah. There is no doubt. So this is what we have to do as well. We all have a duty to perform. One might be a housewife. One might be a parent, a husband, a member of society, a government official. It doesn't matter. Whatever one's responsibility is, one carry that. As a service to Krishna, offer the results to Krishna. And chant Hare Krishna. Chanting Hare Krishna is the best way to remember Krishna. And then Krishna will take care of the rest. There is a wonderful Hindi poem. It says, Tumhara man tumhare kaam mein, main apne dham mein. Tumhara man tumhare kaam mein, main apne dham mein. Tumhara man mere naam mein, main tumhare kaam mein. What it says for those who don't understand Hindi is that Tumhara man tumhare kaam mein means if you are really busy in your work, oh, I have to do this, without me, nothing will happen. The company will stop. My team will fall apart. I have to do this. If you are like that, without me, I am so indispensable, then Krishna is saying, Main apne dham mein, I am in my abode. Because you are very busy there. But Tumhara man mere naam mein, if your mind is in chanting my holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If your mind is in chanting my holy names, Main tumhare kaam mein, in your work, I will be there. There was once a Prime Minister of Britain who was in his deathbed. And his last words were, Oh my dear England, what will happen to you without me? There is a very famous saying, the cemetery is filled with indispensable people. Like the lizard, for those who are from India, they know. In India, there are a lot of lizards, small lizards. Have you seen? It will be there in the roof. Like somehow it can walk through the roof like that. And it won't fall down. But the lizard is thinking, I am holding up the roof. Right? That is our position sometimes. Not sometimes, most of the times. We think, without me, nothing will happen. If I am not here, what will happen to my family? Who is going to cook for my son? Who is going to feed him? What will happen to my country? I have to defend it. Like that. But we forget the essential aspect, which is to remember Krishna. Who is this service meant for? We should never forget that. That's why Krishna says in the Gita this verse twice, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. He says these words twice. That always remember me, become my devotee, offer your homage, obeisances unto me, worship me, Krishna is saying. So this is very important. Yes, do your cooking, do your jobs, but chant Hare Krishna. And this is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to establish. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parsadam Yajna Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti Hi Sumedasaha. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, it is said about this incarnation of Krishna in this age of Kali Yuga, in this one very special age of Kali Yuga. Krishna himself appears. He is Krishna Varnam, Tvisha Krishna. He is Krishna himself, but his bodily complexion is not blackish. He is of golden color. But he is always, Varna also means to describe. He is always chanting, describing the holy names of Krishna. And his weapons, usually when Godhead appears, he has weapons to annihilate the miscreants. But his weapons are the devotee sanghas, the devotees. And this chanting of the holy name is what he does. Yajna Sankirtana Prayer, Sankirtan Yajna. This is the weapon for this age. Sankirtana Narayana Shabdhamatram Vimukta Dukkha Sukhino Bhavantu. This is from the Vishnu Sahasranam. It says that when one engages in the congregational chanting of the holy names, all kinds of miseries are driven away and one achieves happiness. This is guaranteed. The process is guaranteed. Full guarantee. So one just needs to have a little bit of faith to take this. Shraddha Shabde Vishwasa Kori E Sudrit Nishchaya. Krishna Bhakti Korila Sarva Karma Krita Hoya. What is Shraddha? Shraddha is that faith, determined faith, Sudrita Nishchaya. That if I perform Krishna Bhakti, then everything will be taken care of. One still does one's duties, but the effect will be different. One can actually go back home, back to Godhead. One can develop pure love for Krishna. And this is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established. The special mercy he gave to everyone. It is open to everyone. No qualifications needed. You go to apply to IIT or MIT or Harvard, they will say, what are your qualifications? Oh, do you have this much money? Do you have this much degrees? Do you have this many recommendations? No? Please go away. But in Krishna Bhakti, in chanting of the holy names, the least unqualified you are welcomed. He is called as Patita Pavana, right? Friend of the fallen. So we all should try to take to this process of chanting of the holy names. Bolo Shri Shri Nitai Sachidanand Dev Bhagavan ki Jai. So chant the holy names, remember Krishna, and take advantage of the mercy of Lord Krishna in this very fallen age. There is no other solution for this age. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Namaiva Kevalam, Kalau Nastyeva, 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 Gatir Anyatha. There is no other way. Right? This is the verdict of all scriptures. I will stop here. Thank you so much. Are there any questions? Yes, Madhava.
Like for beginners to start chanting, can you say some basic guidelines? Like, is it should we take like head bath or before food or something like that? Any guidelines?
There is one very wonderful thing about chanting Hare Krishna. There is no rules and regulations for this. Namna Magari Nijab Bahusarpa Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala. There is no time, place. You can even chant in the restroom. Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala. There is no niyama, no regulations. But with any spiritual process we begin, it helps to pay attention. That is the one thing. One must be attentive in hearing. So it helps to set aside a certain time. You can actually chant anytime. Even when you are driving, you can chant. But one must commit to chanting certain number every day, consistently. So we stand Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's once. If you chant it 108 times, that's one mala or one round. Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, stipulated that one must chant at least 16 rounds every day. But we may not be able to do it day one, right? But we must do it at least one round every day. One can take a resolution today. Okay, I will chant every day one round. If you chant it like as you become comfortable, it takes about 7 minutes per round. We spend longer than that in front of the TV, right? So at least 7 minutes everyone can try, right? So it helps to sit in a place, calm your mind, like take some deep breaths and then chant. And you can see the difference, right? So yes, there are no rules and regulations. Even while cooking, driving, walking, you can chant. But it helps to chant a specified number of rounds every day without fail. Consistency is key. Okay. Any other questions?
I have one. I always struggle. I always think how to get better when we chant. Like when you chant, you are chanting the sloka or everything, but your brain will be thinking something else. Like, come on, I don't want to do this. I wanted to focus on God. I wanted to chant with my heart. But still, my brain will be everywhere. But I struggle and I try to get answers from everywhere. But I'm trying to get better. Is there any way that I can get better?
Yeah, a couple of answers are there. I will be quick about it because Aarti is beginning. First thing is that association is key. If you want to become a great musician, you will approach a great musician to get training. So have the association of devotees who are chanting very nicely. That's one. Second is that chanting is a prayer. It's your personal audience with Krishna. One must appreciate what one is getting. Like if you have a meeting with the CEO of your company, will you be haphazard about it? Like you'll say, you'll show up in like a baggy pants and a torn t-shirt and like that. No, you'll be very reverential, right, approaching. This is the Supreme Lord. He is giving you His personal audience. So when one develops that attitude that, oh, this is something special, and also has an attitude of gratitude that Krishna has blessed me with so many things. Even the air we breathe is Krishna's blessing. So when we are grateful for that, then we can approach the holy name properly. And we can chant with attention. We must always cultivate this mood. But main thing is to have association of devotees always and chant attentively. That's it. Then everything else will manifest. That is guaranteed. Krishna takes charge. That purport we write. As Krishna takes charge, Krishna will take charge. Okay. We'll stop for today. Thank you so much. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.